Hello and welcome into the Ride the Waiver show. So tonight we got a special guest with us, top scorer in the league this week, 65.2 points, Bryce Wickline.
Hey. Welcome to the show, champ.
What's up?
Bryce, how does it feel after that huge week that you had on Friday?
It was a good win. I mean, we all played good. We knew from the start that it was going to be a shootout. Like, both offenses are really good. They have a really good running back. So it was going to be tough to stop him, and I knew I had to go out and show out with my boys, so that's what we did.
So I want to ask you. I mean, you throw for 3 touchdowns. You run for 2 or run for 1. I'm sorry. Uh, did you kind of just get in a groove early and kind of ride with it, or was this like a Monday thing where you were like all week you were kind of feeling something like this coming?
No, really, I didn't really have the greatest week of practice. So Thursday, it really wasn't a good day. We had a horrible day, and Thursday night, I had to talk to Coach Step, kind of locked in that night, I guess, and then came in Friday and took off.
Heck yeah, it
It's
really
not
took
always
off,
the
man.
best to have your best day of practice on a third or on that Thursday. You know, you want to save something for the game sometimes. You know.
Yeah.
No,
Bryce, I wanted to ask real quick. You guys play in Circleville. That's a huge non-conference rival for you guys. Does that give you a little extra juice going into the game?
Oh yeah, of course, always. It always is.
No.
They're like 10 minutes away from us, so we know all the guys over there. There's always smack talk. You know, we're all buddies, but we just really want to win that game. We haven't beat Circleville in 5 years, 4 or
Oh
5
wow,
years. So
bringing back the trophy. Yeah, you guys got a trophy or
yep.
anything for that?
No, we used to have one with Logan Home, but I think we stopped that a couple years ago.
Oh,
We'll
gotcha.
have to start it back up.
yeah, something
Might have to.
something I was going to ask is at the beginning of the season you guys were kind of rush heavy, whereas this past game you guys kind of just went off, kind of aired it out. Is that something you guys are going to be going towards more going forward, or are you guys going to stick more to like the run style thing?
I guess it really depends on the week. Week 1 we came in and we were playing on feet, and we ended up just rushing. We had like 400 rushing yards as a team, so we just stuck with it then. And then Logan Elm came in, and you know they had a really good defense, but we could do what we really wanted on offense. And then last week they couldn't stop throwing. We couldn't stop throwing the ball. Like they couldn't stop us.
Yeah.
So it was.
That
I
Logan
guess
Elm
it was been
defense
a little.
is a tough defense. We've seen them kind of play a few through this first 3 weeks. They seem like they're a pretty solid team, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I want to say, Bryce, too, you guys come in 2-1. Kind of puts you at a tie for second with Piketon being 3-0. Seems like kind of you guys are kind of a team that flew under the radar. With the 3 non-league games. How do you take the 2-1 moment, especially a big win against, like you just said, one of your biggest rivals, and then you guys obviously go off throwing the multiple. That's one thing I like to see. It wasn't just one guy getting all these touchdowns. I mean, you're aerating it to everybody. How do you take a big win like that and head into league play?
We have a lot of momentum, and we're ready. I mean, we've been ready all year, all
Hell
summer.
yeah.
We've been preparing for this. We knew we were going to be like the underdogs all year, and we're just ready to come in and show everybody what we got.
Well, buddy, I think they're going to see that you have a lot of airline miles because, oh my gosh,
I'll tell you what, he kind of did speak on that. He was going to be maybe running it a little bit more this year, and I like to hear those 2 rushing touchdowns. It just kind of, he gave us a sneak peek, and I kept saying we can't say it again after we get off air. We didn't, and I want to say we kept it under wraps. We knew you had those wheels the whole time. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony was
Bryce,
one of the people that was talking about that running power of your guys' offense early on in the season. So I remember him talking about it
Yeah.
like week 1, and then you went off kind of. I think you had like 123 yards week 1 rushing.
Yep.
And then I remember when that happened, I was just kind of like, oh, Tony was right. Tony called that one, like no doubt.
Hey, I didn't
Yeah.
call it. He kind of gave us a sneak peek, and I just picked up on it. I didn't want to point it out there. You can't tell the defensive man, I'm telling you. But he said it was coming. Bryce gave us the hint.
Bryce, before we get you out of here, man, anybody you wanted to give a shout out to before you get out of here?
Oh yeah, Coach Step. I mean, he's my man.
Heck yeah.
My family,
I
friends.
wanted to I want to ask you, what's it kind of like being? I know I was going to get you out here, but you brought that up, made me think about it. What's it like having him as a coach? We're doing a little bit of research on him, and it kind of looked like he went all over the place from a wide receiver to a quarterback, everything like that. So, what's it like having a coach like
Setting
that? That's a dual
records.
threat in your pocket. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he knows it all. He's done it all. I mean, he's a stud. He's really a stud, and
Dude,
he's a great
he
guy.
was, man. Yeah. Heck yeah, man.
Biggest
Well, hey,
regret
Bryce.
of the season so far is not being able to have him on this past Sunday. Unfortunately, we had some stuff pop off. We couldn't quite go
Well,
live. So tell him apologies, a million apologies.
I will.
Hey,
all
we're
right, Bryce.
following
Well,
you
hey,
guys hard for real. We're keeping up.
yeah, we're
All
looking at
right.
the schedule. We're going to try and get you guys on for a game day here soon, like real soon. So make sure you get everybody show up and show out. And man, if you guys keep playing like you're playing now, we're over here at Ride the Wave. We're expecting big things out of the Westfall Mustangs this season.
Can't wait for the rest of the season, man.
All right, man. Hey, Bryce. Everybody, Bryce Wickline. Stud.
65.2 points this past week going off.
Yeah, let everybody know at school, 65 pointer right here. All righty, Adam. What we
That's
Yeah,
jumping
so
one.
we're just
into
gonna
now, my
jump
brother?
into We're just gonna jump right into these top five. So we'll start off with quarterback since we just had the number one guy in the league, aka the number one quarterback this week. Bryce Wickline scored 65.2. Second is gonna be Mason Kelly, 47.6 points. Unfortunately, that doesn't get his team, aka your team, the dub this week. You got Preston Farber. Is it Farber?
Yeah, it's Faber or Faber. I can't
Yeah,
remember. Corey's.
again, terribly sorry if we mispronounce it. Coming from Tony's team, Tony's starter, 37.1. We were talking about it recently. Got a little bit of criticism for picking him up in the draft when you did, but I think it's been a great pick, and it seems like you were way smarter
Yeah.
than anybody
You just
anybody
have to
was saying
think.
over there.
You got to think the weapons out there, man. Like Paint Valley, like coming out. McLean kind of shows them too. Like they're kind of out here. They got a lot of weapons. They got a lot of things out there, and nothing to take away from Preston. But if you got a guy like Carson Free, you're almost guaranteed. A decent season
Yeah.
if you can get him the rock. But he's done more than that, obviously, and it's been a nice
Dude,
little
Like
I've been
this
addition to
past
the
week,
surprised at. Sorry, I've been surprised at the run points that he's been getting you. Like the rushing yards, I did not see
that's
that
what I was
coming at
gonna
all.
say. Is this past week? I think he had over 100 on the ground, and that
Yeah.
was where most of his points came this week. I think he even had a score on the ground.
Yeah, he did.
In week one, I think he had just like more of like an Andrew Luck style 30-yard run where it wasn't like it was breakout like QB draw type stuff. I think it's right play right time. He eats enough yards, and all of a sudden it was 30, and I was like, interesting.
And he
Yeah,
runs like
but
Andrew Luck too, where he's like, it's he could probably go out of bounds and not get 3 more yards, but it's almost like he feels like he's disrespecting football by not lowering the shoulder and running
you
over the
think
guy for the first.
you think Braylon Roberts is gonna allow him to just run out of
Yeah,
bounds and not put the shoulder
exactly.
down, dude?
I love it. And
Yeah,
I love it.
but
Being a
to
PV
keep
guy,
it
I love
moving,
it.
we got Joey Pfeiffer at the fourth spot, the fifth. I'm skipping somebody. I'm skipping Gavin Kaufman, the guy that I was waiting for. He always makes me sweat. Sends us his stats last second. Had 36.8. Got me the dub this week. And then we got the fifth
Yeah,
spot
yeah.
being Joey Pfeiffer being 21.7 with the honorable mention Luke Gallion from Piketon with 21.
Golian.
That was just so close. Oh, Golian. Sorry. Terribly sorry.
You're right.
Golian because he's always scoring goals. But yeah, he had 21, so that was just so close. I had to throw him in there. Running backs, we go back to another person on Tony's team,
Jax.
Cade Wolford, just a huge player, had
Dude,
38.9
flu
points.
game. Sorry, I gotta bring it up, man.
No, yeah,
Legit flu
absolutely.
game. I read the article on him in the Jackson newspaper. I know I'm not calling it right, but whatever the Jackson newspaper is. And then we were going to bring him on Sunday, so I talked to him
He's
a
the
little
courier.
bit, and he had missed school, I think, for if not the whole week, majority of the week, to the point on Friday where his coach is calling him saying like, "Hey man, like, are you gonna be able to get out of bed today?" And he's like, "Hey, I'll try to get out of bed." And he comes out with almost 200 all-purpose yards and 3 tutties, dude. Like, and number one back on the week. Like, Michael Jordan flu game right there. That's all I can think about.
I absolutely love it, man. Moxie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll keep it moving. We got a player on my team, Joey Wright, Westfall running back,
I
31
was about to say
points.
another Westfall guy.
Don't know how you can have 65.2 points, have the top quarterback, and then switching gears going running back, have the second running back. And then speaking of two top running backs, we got tied for third place, Buddy Wilson and Jace Hurd at 26.1. So that gives Tone the top or 1 and 3 when it comes to running backs.
He literally has
Just
the number third player in 2 people. Like, that's crazy.
I
yeah.
just
And
I
then we
just
got
like to see the elite stable of running backs that this fantasy league has. I know we're going with Jason stuff. We're getting outside just the SVC, but like what a bunch of great athletes around here, man. You're talking Ty, Buddy Wilson, and Jace Hurt. Like just those names alone, I'm like, there's a lot of great runners.
And both coming out of
well,
Pike County too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Piketon
As I
and
see
Waverly.
something I've been saying all season, and it's probably just because of where we live and just the type of people that are here. But 3 yards in the cloud of dust, fellas. That's when you get it done on Fridays. But to keep it moving, we got the 4th spot. We got Blake Phillips from Zane Trace with 23.5, and then we got the 5th spot, Braylon Robertson with 16.7, and honorable mention Vinton County boy Garrett Brown 14.7.
Yeah, Brian.
And then now the wide receivers, we didn't have a whole lot of wide receivers going off just because we had so many running backs go off. But we had Cody Swartz with 40 points for Waverly. We had another Westfall guy, Trent Walters, with 38.3. No surprise there. We got Gage Cheadle with 27.1. We got Brent McGuire. Believe he's a Piketon guy, right, Clay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
killing it both sides as well.
22.8. His first time we've seen his number in the top fives list. So look forward to seeing him a little bit more. And then we got Blake Hoops keeps the Hoops family on this top 5 list for the 3rd consecutive week with 13.4. And then on the
Great hook
defensive
and
side of
ladder
things,
play too. Great hook and ladder
absolutely.
play.
He didn't get the
But not
receiving
as
yard split,
good
but he definitely got
as
he
the
got the
one
reception.
before the half. I had put out there, I love my Union Yoda people, but to see 2 amazing hook and ladder plays, and not just one game, and not just one half, and 1 quarter, and it's not the 4th, what a game.
Yeah.
What a game.
I will say this. I don't know if that second hook and ladder was so much better than the first, or if it was just Jace Hurd doing Jace Hurd stuff that made it so much better. Because, I mean, he immediately catches it and it runs right through 2 people, two would-be tacklers' arms. Immediately 2 broken tackles right there. And then he makes like 4 guys miss in the open field. So, I mean, crazy stuff. Because of Jace Hurd, we're going to see Unioto not on the top 5 in defense for the first time this week. So we're going to have Washington Courthouse at the number 1 spot with 20 points this week. Had a huge pick 6 for
Rocky Jones!
Aiden Rocky Jones had a huge pick 6 for him. We had my alma mater, Vinton County. Love seeing him up here. Had 18 points. Had 2 forced fumbles. Had 2 fumble recoveries. Held them to 6 points, them being the Trimble Tomcats. We had Waverly being 3rd with 13. We had Tony's defense here, Piketon, number 7. So it's no wonder he got his first win this week because Tony's players are just all over this top 5
Yeah,
list.
they're
He's got
all over these
so
top
many
5s.
of them.
If I can slide a super flex here soon, I'm telling you, I'm just getting goose eggs from that second quarterback position, man. I'm no offense to the guys. I'm just picking them wrong weeks maybe, but it's tough.
Yeah, I said that's what I was telling Clay last week. Lucas King went off and was one of the top performers, if not he was definitely the top performer on the bench, but he had I want to say 30 or 40 points on the bench, and it was just
He was
that
in the
was just
top
the
5
1
of
week.
quarterbacks for the week. He was top 5 quarterbacks for the week.
I have the
But
list right
honestly,
here,
it's
my
like,
friends.
Oh, I was
yeah,
like, did Adam just abandon the show? He
No,
said, I'm tired of hearing it.
yeah, I think
it's
he had
just
like he
tough.
was top 3.
It's tough because I wanted a little bit of like, I want to say, I guess, a little bit of a lottery ticket later on in the draft, taking, Chillicothe with Evelyn and things. But it's just, sometimes you got a couple hard games to start with. I think I might just have to pick and choose which one I want to play better each week because Fulver, I think, is just going to be okay. He'll take the reins and be
I
a
think
must
it'll help
start.
you too, Tony, coming into league play, especially because now you're kind of getting the feel of each team and stuff like that. Might be a better time, be better to read like, hey, this defense is a little bit more vulnerable to the pass. So I could probably play this quarterback this week, or this
Well,
quarterback's a run quarterback, and this defense ain't very good with the run. So I think because we're all still learning these teams through the first 3
oh,
weeks,
absolutely,
kind of like
absolutely.
everybody
And
else.
that's the thing is, like somebody said, Chillicothe earlier. They've had a tough first 3 games here. Like, I mean,
Dude,
I
and it
think
does
they're
not get
they're
any
0-3,
easier.
right? But I mean, they
It
had
doesn't.
some tough games. I mean,
They play Harvest Prep Friday, dude. It's like, geez Louise,
yeah,
man.
I
Like,
mean, it's just
one thing I
they got
wanted
their
to
work
point
cut out
out,
for them. But
guys, is a duo that we here on the show, we were all looking at, Unioto with Hoops and Westfall with Wickline and, Pike in that run game. This Joey Pfeiffer and Gage Cheadle duo out at Southeastern is starting to become a weapon. I mean,
and guess who knew
I
about
think
it?
freaking Andy.
Andy,
Like, as
Andy.
a both, like the freaking fantasy guru over here. Like, but
I'm
like
telling you.
again,
Not 3-0
Joey
though.
Joey Pfeiffer, he's in the top 5 2 weeks in a row. Gage Cheadle, he's in the top 5 2 weeks in a row, with this week being higher than he was last week. Um, like, and I know Southeastern, they're only 1-2, but when it comes to fantasy, which is 100% what this show's about, these two guys are a freaking weapon, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
insane to watch.
you touched on like hoops, and Uniola, and then over there at Piketon and stuff like that. Well, the thing that I like about Uniola is they have the hoops to hoops connection. Well, Jackson also has that, and you saw it on a 61-yard pass from Wolford to Wolford
Yeah.
because Bodie Wolford over there. I think he was 5 for 7 this past week, had like 100 and some yards. I can't remember his fantasy totals. I'd have to go back and look, but I want to say it was solid. It's just the Jackson quarterback's a little inconsistent because they are so run heavy. They have so many weapons out there, so it's kind of like I think they had like 3
Yeah.
or 4 running
They
backs
have a
that
3-headed dragon in that backfield, dude. It's like,
yeah,
pick your freaking poison.
yeah, because you got Wolford who scored 3 touchdowns, and then you have I think Ryan Johnson, or is it
Yeah.
Nolan Johnson?
Nolan.
Nolan, okay, yeah, I was thinking of Ryan Nolan, the baseball player, but yeah, Nolan Johnson, he scored a touchdown, and then you have I think it's Eli Browerman. Browerman. Sorry if
Yeah,
I'm
or
mispronouncing that, but I
Browerman.
mean I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean he's more of like a defensive guy. I'm pretty sure he plays linebacker a lot, but I say he's even getting some touches out there and having some yards on the ground. That's so like again, just it's so much running. It's hard for a quarterback to do anything out there. But I feel like given the chance, Bodie will do well.
Tony, who's some people that you've seen like this week or the first 2 weeks that's just been kind of bouncing out at you, catching your eye a little bit? Obviously, Jace Hurd last week.
To be honest, do you know? I mean, we were at the game, and then I was actually getting my hair cut, and somebody brought up a name to me, and they actually said thank you. By the way, I didn't get a chance to tell you guys this. They said thank you for doing the game live because it was the only way that her grandparents or her parents got to watch the game. They were a Waverly fan. So shout out to the Barbers and thank you for the support and at least
Thank you.
we wanted to give you guys a way to watch the game. But she was kind of speaking to me about Creed Smith. Now I know Jason obviously is going to be in front of him and things, but man, just that little taste that we got. I think this is more for future years to come, but I'm like really excited about just like that.
Yeah.
He was just
Well,
a backup in that room.
to keep on Waverly there, Quentin Hurd is also probably going to be another guy that's going to be a solid running back going forward, maybe a year or two from now. I think those two are going to be just a dynamic duo.
That is his cousin. she was telling me.
Okay, that's like an
Quentin is his
Anthony
cousin, and
Teakin.
he is a very, very big boy. Okay, he's
Absolutely.
gonna be a nice goal
Nice
line
little guy.
back at least, like a Zane Brownfield type here, running back soon.
Oh
Dude.
yeah,
Talking
absolutely.
about Creed Smith too, like it sucks for the teams that are playing waiver leagues. Sorry, as I get my sunglasses, it sucks for the teams that play in waiver leagues because like when Jace Hurd comes out, it's like, oh great, now we have to deal with Creed Smith. You know what I mean? Like and he's just as talented. It's kind of crazy to see. Like he went off week 1, week 2, and then last week I wouldn't say he went off, but when he went in, he definitely had some damage for sure.
But yeah, not that he's going to be really a star in fantasy or anything. But I just got my haircut like an hour before this, and she said his name, and I'm like, dude, I saw that on the field. I really saw something there too.
Yeah.
But sorry.
I think he could definitely be a person that you throw in like your flex, or maybe one of your running backs went down. You're looking for a running back to pick up, and maybe you don't need him to somebody to be a star, but he's definitely a guy that can come in and get you 5 to 10 points every single week, just because
I'll tell you
when he
what, I
touches
would
the
want to
seven,
keep Jace Hurd healthy. Like, I think when it
yeah,
gets cold out, if you can get him into the latter stages, I'm telling you what, I would not want to face Jace. Not that he's a big power back, but I wouldn't want to be cold trying to tackle this slippery dude. Like,
mm-hmm.
if you can
That
get
was
Jace
my
Hurd
thought.
healthy and low rep by the end of the season.
That was my thought on Braylon Robertson. Is later on in the year when it's cold and I'm
Yeah.
a little shivering or something, I would
See,
not want to tackle him. He would be the
Oh,
last
yeah.
person because he's going to leave cleat marks on your face as he's going by it.
and that's another thing too. Payne Valley's run game, it's all Braylon Robertson now. But whenever it gets later in the year, man, do not be surprised if you start seeing Colton Yoakum maybe not hit the top 5 in fantasies, but he's gonna be another back that he's on Coach Carl. That could be something that Coach Carl throws in their
Maybe
flex,
he
and
goes
he
in and
can win some
steals a
games.
touchdown or two goal line. I definitely look to
Exactly.
see that. Yeah.
Because the sad part is, and obviously I just know this, I want to bring it up because I'm a Pay Valley guy, but that two-headed monster they got in the backfield, Braylon's only a junior, and I think Colton is also only a junior. So they're
Yeah.
not done after this year. They're coming back next year.
Well, that's something else. Is I was telling Braylon he's like he's my favorite kind of running back because he's like a linebacker running back to where he just wants to hit
Yeah.
people. That's what Yoakum plays. He plays linebacker. So I mean, I definitely look forward. The one or two times we saw him run, I think he had 2 runs week 1 when we went and watched him. One of them got called back, but those were 2 great runs. So I
They
mean,
were
I'm looking
violent.
forward to him maybe senior year.
Guys,
I'm
I'm
interested,
looking
to be honest
forward.
with you. I want more of these. I mentioned Zane Brownfield again, but I like these linebacker running backs. I want more of it. I
Yeah.
want to see these
My
Yeah.
monsters.
favorites.
But I don't want to
Yeah.
steal touchdowns either. I understand as a coach, you don't you want to give your defensive players a little bit of love, maybe give them a tutty here and there, but a lot of these running backs earn those scrimmage yards and get you down there. They deserve the 6 too.
That's what I like to see out of Yoda with hoops with Dollison. They pretty much did that entire drive, and they could have turned and gave it to maybe a bigger running back or did something else, and it looked like Hoops was like, "No, man, you got us down here. Like you're finishing it for us," and
That
that's
was
something I can
so
That's
respect.
fair
another
because
name. Yeah, I said
Sorry,
Dawson's
Royce.
another name we need to talk. We need to talk about on
Yeah,
this show because he was. I'm surprised nobody's even picked him up before now. Like, I mean, that's somebody I'm
because
well, that's
surprised.
every
my
week
fault
it's been a
because I haven't put
different
the
running
points
back.
out yet.
That is true.
Ethan Summer was week 1, had a good game. I know he was really only a couple plays, but had a good game week 1. James Reinhart was week 2. And Dollison, again, didn't have a crazy game or anything. So it's honestly feels like it's been a different guy for Uniota every week.
I feel like that's how it's going to be all season too, Tony. Because you got to think too, not even running back wise, but wide receiver wise, Ty Woods. If I'm saying his name correctly, he came out.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly his fantasy numbers yet, but he had some big plays for the Shermans there.
He
I said,
runs like a safety. I love it.
Yeah.
well, and then unfortunately we saw Cutright go down there and he didn't get a whole lot of minutes, in the later half of that game. So I mean,
Yeah.
it opened it up for Hoops to have a little bit more targets. I think he caught. I want to say he caught like 5 passes. Let's say
Mhm.
it opened it up for a little bit more. So, like you said, I like to see more of these receivers for Unioto coming off the free agencies. I think that's going to happen.
Guys, I'm excited to see what happens when we come into league play. Holbert talked about it on the game day show last week. Of you take what Adina and Uniota, they both played Amanda Clear Creek, so you kind of have to take the game from each one and be okay, how good is each person because they played this game. Well, now we don't have to use a middleman. Now these teams are finally coming head to head and playing each other, and I feel like the way okay, so kind of how we're talking about with Westfall. Last week they got real pass happy, right? I think that's because of them coming into the SVC. The SVC. Did you just?
I got nervous.
Oh my god!
I was going to leave the camera, but I thought it'd be more noticeable. Edit. I don't know. Help. I'm nervous.
Shout out to you, Clay, for trying to power
It's my
through like I
first
did when that
fantasy
kid's head
show.
was in
I'm
the scoreboard.
trying, dude.
But
I'm
I
trying.
couldn't.
I think I smelled it come through my camera.
I was thinking the same
That
thing.
was a
Be more
Chipotle fart,
professional.
bro.
Be more professional.
You know what?
Damn it.
I'm done. I don't know what I was even talking about. What the heck, dude? That was... Oh man. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please check out our Sunday shows. Check out our live broadcast on Fridays. You can find us at Ride the Wave Show 2023 on Twitter, or at Ride the Wave Show on Instagram or Facebook. and
And the
if you can
TikToks.
smell that coming through your screen, we apologize. Oh, jeez Louise.